that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Where haven't we? You know the planes and the Taylor gang and the
Welcome back to the Underdog Playbook. I'm Kay Adams.
And I'm Taylor Rooks. We're diving into the heart of the college football season here in our second season.
Today we're focusing on a story that embodies everything we love about the underdog spirit in college football. Trey Camby, the redshirt freshman quarterback at Arizona State University.
That's right. Trey started the season as the backup, battled hard for that position, and after a series of ups and downs, he's earned a chance to compete for the starting job.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it? Let's break it down. Trey's journey started with a fierce competition for the backup spot. He pushed hard, but it wasn't until week 3 that his number got called.
Right. He came into that game against Texas State when the starter went down. It wasn't an easy game for him.
Definitely. He struggled at times, but showed flashes of potential, leading his team to a tough win. What do you think that experience did for him, Taylor?
I think it was crucial. Facing adversity can either break you or make you stronger. For Trey, it was about resilience. Even when the game was tough, he still found a way to rally his team.
After that game, he was benched again. But it didn't take long for the team to see success without him. Arizona State beat Fresno State 33-31 in week 4. They showed a lot of heart in that game, but then came the loss to West Virginia in week 6, 48-17. That must have been hard for the team and for Trey watching from the sidelines.
It's tough to sit back and watch, especially after he tasted that starting role. But then came the week 7 game against Texas Christian University, a nail-biter ending in an 18-13 victory. What a way to bounce back for the team. But here's the big story. Trey's head coach pulled him aside post-game and let him know he'd have the chance to compete for the starting job against Texas Tech.
That's a pivotal moment. Let's think about the implications here. What does this opportunity mean for Trey moving forward?
It's huge. This is his chance to prove he can lead the team. It's also a moment for him to show that he learned from his past struggles and can perform under pressure.
And it raises questions for fans and analysts. Will he approach this start differently after his earlier experiences?
Absolutely. He has to manage the pressure while also being a leader on the field. The team needs confidence, and he needs to inspire that.
So with Texas Tech coming up, what are some key areas Trey needs to focus on in practice?
First and foremost, he has to work on his decision-making under pressure. Texas Tech is going to bring a tough defense, and he needs to read the field quickly.
Agreed, and communication with his receivers will be crucial. Timing and trust will be key, especially if he's still building that rapport.
Let's not forget about mental preparation. He'll need to stay focused, block out distractions, and maintain that killer instinct.
Definitely. And what about the fan and media expectations? It's a double-edged sword. Everyone wants to see him succeed, but there's also that pressure to perform.
Exactly. Fans can be passionate and they want to see progress. But if he stays grounded and plays his game, that pressure can turn into motivation.
After we come back from a quick commercial break, we're going to be joined live by Rachel DeMita, who is currently at Arizona State's football facility, to talk more about our featured segment.
Okay. This ain't the life that we chose, but it's the life that we live in. Know we belong on the top, but we ain't tripping, cause we'll get there in a minute. And we'll get there in a minute, cause we'll get there in a minute. Know we belong on the top, but we ain't tripping, cause we'll get there in a minute.
Welcome back to the Underdog Playbook. We're thrilled to have sports journalist Rachel DeMita with us. Rachel has been reporting live from Arizona State's football facility, and she's got some incredible insights on Trey's development. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to chat about Trey and what's been happening at ASU.
Let's get right into it. Trey started the season as a backup, but he's quickly become a focal point for the team. From your observations, how has he grown as a quarterback since the start of the season?
Great question, Kay. I've seen significant growth in Trey's game management and decision-making. Initially, he struggled with reading defenses, but he's become more composed. His ability to process the game has really improved, especially after being thrown into that tough situation against Texas State.
It's impressive how he handled that pressure. How about his leadership in the locker room? Being a young guy, what's that been like for him?
He's really stepped up in that regard. Trey understands that leadership isn't just about being the quarterback. It's about building relationships. He makes a point to check in with every staff member in the facility, whiwhich is pretty unique for a freshman.
That's amazing. It shows a lot of maturity for someone his age. Have you seen any specific ways he's tried to bond with his teammates?
Absolutely. One thing he does is take his teammates out for golf during their downtime. It's a relaxed environment where they can connect off the field, and it helps build camaraderie within the team.
That's a great strategy. Team chemistry can be so crucial, especially for a quarterback. What kind of vibe have you noticed from the team towards Trey?
The guys really rally around him. They respect his work ethic and the effort he puts in, not just on the field, but also in fostering those personal connections. You can tell they trust him, which is vital for a young quarterback.
Now, heading into the Week 8 matchup against Texas Tech, this is a huge moment for Trey. How does this game shape up for him personally?
It's massive. Not only is it the biggest game of his career so far, but it also might be his only chance to prove he has what it takes to start for a Division I program. The pressure is on, but I think he thrives in those moments.
What are some specific challenges you think he'll face against Texas Tech?
Texas Tech has a dynamic defense. They'll test Trey's ability to read coverages and react quickly. If he can manage that pressure and execute, it could really solidify his spot as the starter moving forward.
And what about the support from the coaching staff? How do they feel about Trey stepping into this role?
The coaches are optimistic but realistic. They've been impressed with his maturity and growth. They're giving him the tools he needs to succeed, but also emphasizing that he must play within himself. They want to see him be a leader on the field.
That makes sense. The balance between confidence and humility can be tough for a young player.
Exactly, and I think Trey gets that. He's been vocal about wanting to improve and is open to feedback, which is critical for a player in his position.
Let's talk a bit about the fan base. What's the vibe like among ASU fans regarding Trey?
There's a lot of excitement. Fans love an underdog story, and Trey fits that bill perfectly. They're rallying behind him, especially after his initial performance this season. The community is really hoping he can take this opportunity and run with it.
If he does perform well, what could that mean for his future at Arizona State?
A strong showing could open up a lot of doors. It might solidify him as the starter for the remainder of the season and potentially make him a key player moving forward. It could also impact recruiting as future players see that Arizona State is developing talent and giving young guys a chance, and with his head coach willing to invest in his development, this could truly be a special experience.
That's a great point. It's not just about this season, but also setting a foundation for the future.
What's your prediction for Trey's performance against Texas Tech?
I think he'll rise to the occasion. He's shown that he can handle pressure, and with the support he has around him, I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a breakout game.
We'll be watching closely. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
As we wrap up, let's talk about the bigger picture. If Trey does well against Texas Tech, how does that change the narrative around him and the program?
It could be a game changer. A strong performance can solidify his place as a starter and boost the morale of the entire team. It could shift the trajectory of the season.
And it would set up such an exciting storyline for the rest of the year. The Trey Canby story could be one for the ages.
We'll definitely be following this closely. So what do you think, listeners? Can Trey rise to the occasion?
We can't wait to find out. Thank you for tuning in to the Underdog Playbook.
Join us next week as we continue to follow Trey's journey and discuss the highs and lows of college football.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep rooting for those underdogs.
This ain't the life that we chose, but this the life that we live in. No, we belong on the top, but we ain't tripping, 'cause we'll get there